Hello, hello. I'm going to talk a little bit today about finding your life purpose. So, when we talk about finding your life purpose, the thing is that there's this misconception that you have a life purpose that has been sort of like assigned to you before you got here, and that is your role to play out while you're here. Now, that's not entirely true. And the reason for that is because you are the one who gives your life purpose. You decide what your purpose is in life, not something external to you. Now, when we think about life purpose, one of the questions I love to ask people is to think about what would you do if money wasn't an object and you knew you could not fail. And when we answer that question, it gives us a ton of information. It's such a simple question. We think like, oh gosh, this can't, be that profound, and yet it really is. What would you do if money wasn't an issue? Money is not a factor, and you knew you wouldn't fail. What would you do? And that is your answer. Now, sometimes when I ask this question, people are like getting the answer out before I even finish the question. They know immediately. And other times when I ask this question, people don't have an answer. They're like, I don't know. So there's two different types of people. Now, if you're in the first camp and you're like, this is what I want to do, I know exactly what it is, I want you to take a look at your life and see, is the life that you are living right now in alignment with the life that you would be living? Blah, blah, blah. Tripping over my words. That you would be living, right? Does your life look anything like what you'd want it to look like? Because if you want to be living this particular life, but you're actually living this particular life, and you're really far away from it, I'm going to take a guess that you're not that happy. I'm going to take a guess that you don't feel that fulfilled. You're not that excited when you wake up in the morning. It's just kind of like Groundhog Day. Here we go. Another day of doing the same thing again. That's what I'm going to guess, right? But if you're this far away, what could you start to do to get a little closer? It seems scary, and I totally get that, right? Like I have a degree in criminal justice that I graduated with, a bachelor's degree in like 2006. I've done nothing with that degree. It was great to help me learn a lot of psychology and learn a lot about human behavior and all sorts of stuff. And it's not like I don't use all of that stuff when I'm filming and working with clients and all of those things. But like, I don't want to work with criminals every single day. So, I finished with this degree, like I spent 6 years on it. And I got done and I started to think about what my day-to-day was going to be like. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't want to spend all day with criminals. And I know there's other things you can do with criminal justice, but that's what I was thinking at the time. I actually took police tests for 2 different police forces and scored like really high on the actual written test part. And then I like failed the physical, and I'm really glad I did, because like it just, I can't even imagine what my life would be like if I had gone that direction. But anyway, the point is that here you are, I was so far away from what I actually wanted to be doing, right? Like here I am in that space, and I put all that time and all that energy in, and I did that again in another, that's another story for another day, but I did that again too. And it's, even though I put all that time and energy in, it was like, you know what, that's not really what I want to do. It's not really what's going to make me happy. I'm not going to wake up in the morning, be excited about going to work. This isn't where I want to be and what I want to be doing. And so when you look at that, it's like, oh my gosh, it just seems like it's so far away. And so for so many people, they're just like, forget it, I'm not going to do it. But the reality is that, like, yeah, you're not going to be there tomorrow. Like, let's be realistic, but you can start to make your way there. You can start to take the steps to get yourself there. So if you're doing this one thing and you really want to be doing this other thing, then start to look at what kind of components of this other thing do actually fit into what you're already doing. So there's very likely an overlap somewhere, hopefully, but if not, it's fine. And then start to think about what pieces of this thing could you start to incorporate in what you're doing right now? Where could you start to make the change? Let's just say, for instance, that you are a school teacher, but really you want to be like an artist, okay? So maybe where could you start incorporating art into what you're doing right now? Whether you are spending time on the weekend taking art classes for yourself then, or if there's some way that you're incorporating art into your curriculum that you're teaching with the kids, but how can you just get that ball rolling and get started? Because basically what you want to do is start building momentum on that ideal life and that ideal goal, what it is you really want to be doing, and start making your steps towards that. No matter how far away it looks like it is today, if that's truly what you desire, like deep inside your heart and what you really want to be doing, you can make your way there, but you got to do something about it. You got to start taking the first steps. You have to take that action. So maybe it's you need to go back to school. Maybe you need to take a certification program. Maybe you just need to go buy 5 books and read those books. Like whatever it is, it's going to get you started, moving closer towards what you really truly want to be doing is where you need to be putting your energy. So that's if you have the answer, right? Also, some people might have an answer and they might be really close to it. So it might be like this small little thing. So I've seen this, and what that looks like is, in fact, I'm just going to use the example of my own life. So I had started my business, and I had my business, and I also was still working full-time for someone else. And so time was going on, and it was like, oh, I really want to be full-time in my business, but I was afraid, and I wasn't going to have enough money, I wouldn't have enough clients, and all of that kind of stuff. And so I was still giving all this full-time energy and this full-time work to something I didn't want to be doing, while I was like loving my business on the side, but I couldn't give it all my attention and energy. So I was really close to where I really truly wanted to be, but it just wasn't all the way there yet. And so with that, I had to take that sort of jump off the cliff. I had to take that leap of faith and hope that, like, not hope, but like know that I was going to make it work. Because a lot of this does boil back down on the deepest levels to self-betrayal or showing up for yourself and knowing that you can succeed and knowing you can make it happen for you. And so I knew I was going to show up for myself. I knew I was going to make it happen. And I didn't even have a backup plan. I was like, you know what, if it doesn't work, I'll figure those pieces out later, but it's just going to work. Like, I'm going to make it work. And with that, I was super close to that. You know, I had done all of the work. I had done the certification programs. I got the business rolling. Everything was, you know, legit and going on. And I started seeing clients. And then I finally was like, okay, that's it. I want to be doing this full time. Like, I want to wake up every single morning and be seeing my clients and like working on my own business and not be giving my energy to something else that's outside of me that really isn't aligned with me in any way, shape, or form. And so it was close, and I took that leap. All of this stuff, whether you're like this far away or you're this close to it, or you're somewhere in the middle, all of it is going to require you to have some level of courage and also some level of trust in yourself, right? And know that you're not going to betray yourself and that you're not going to fail on your own, you know, will. And to be honest, like, I don't think I've ever met someone who has failed, who, how do I put this? I've not met anyone who's been successful who is like, yeah, I didn't really try at all. It just sort of, I just like woke up and it happened. Like, I don't think that really happens. Maybe, but I haven't met anyone like that. So back to this whole thing, that's like, you're gonna have to have some courage, okay? And so whatever it's gonna take for you to sort of dive in deeper and get to that space where you're gonna have more courage so that you can do this stuff and you can live the life you really want to be living and sharing your energy in the world the way you really want to be doing it, you're gonna have to do it. There's no way around that one at all. Now that's for someone who's like, yep, here's the answer, I got it, right? Couple of little steps there that you can get your ball rolling. Obviously can't cover everything in a video. Now, what if you are miles away? Like, what if you don't even have the answer at all? You're like, I have no clue what I want to do. Not sure. I just know it's not what I'm doing right now, but I don't know what I want to do. So if you are from that camp, I'm going to give you a couple ideas to how you could figure out what it is that you want to do, right? How do you find out what your life purpose is? The very first idea is, I want you to revisit childhood memories of, like, what is it that you did when you were a child? So when you were really little, maybe before you even went to school or just in those first few years, what did you do? How did you spend your time? Were you running around playing cops and robbers? Maybe you want to be a cop or a robber, right? Were you, dancing around on a stage, or pretending you were on a stage? My son used to always set up his drums and like set up a concert for everyone, and he had a merch table and everything, and you all had to come and watch him sing his songs, right? So like, what is it that you were doing as a child? So for me, I was setting up my little blackboard in my room and chalkboard in my room, and I would set up all of my stuffed animals and I would teach them. So obviously I wanted to be a teacher. Like, it's what I'm doing in this exact moment right now. And that's what I would do. And it brought me so much joy. And I was like this weird kid who would take the teacher would have all of those like photocopies, extra photocopies of like the busy work or whatever on the sheets. I would take them home. It was so exciting. I was like, oh my gosh, I get to have all of these. And I would take them home and I would use them with my stuffed animal students, and just like loving life in my bedroom with my chalkboard and my students listening to me being the teacher, right? So this is what I was doing from day one. So obviously this is where I wanted to be and what I wanted to be doing. I thought that I wanted to be doing it in a very traditional manner. So I had actually gone to school. I had spent 2 years as a substitute teacher in high school, and then I had actually ended up going to college again to learn how to teach health and physical education, and spent 4.5 years or so doing that and thinking that that's how I was going to teach. But then as time went on, it became clear that I was going to be teaching in a much different way, a way that was really more aligned with who I truly was on the inside. Rather than having someone tell me what I had to teach, I wanted to be the one deciding what I was going to be teaching. So that's just it too. It's like, if you have this thing, like let's say you played doctor or whatever, right? I mean, most kids do that, but still, my daughter used to take her stuffed animals and put band-aids on them, and she wanted to be a veterinarian. And this went on for like 9 years. She was taking care of stuffed animals, putting band-aids on them, and she was playing veterinarian. So the idea though is like, if there is something like that, something that you were doing, so like maybe you're like, okay, I really do love animals, but it's not really like the time and place for me to be going to veterinarian school. Well, then what could you do with animals? Could you become a dog trainer? Could you become a dog walker? Like, what is it that's going to bring you that joy in that space that works for you, very particularly for you, not how it works for other people, but how it works exactly for you, because that's where your joy and excitement is going to come from. That's where your energy is going to come from. That's where you're going to wake up in the morning and you're just going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I get to live this life and I get to do all this stuff that I want to do every single day. And your excitement will come from that space, and that's energy that you're going to share out into the world, versus you sharing the energy of just like, yeah, I'm just doing this because I need to pay my bills, or because I thought this is what I wanted to do and I spent all this time in school doing it, so I'm just going to keep doing it because it's like too late to change now. No, those are excuses. Those are stories. Get out of them and step into what you really, truly, truly want to be doing. The other thing that's really cool about it is once you step into what you truly want to be doing, you do it, it's just so much easier, right? Like, you're just flowing into what you want to be doing versus like the struggle into what you want to be doing. Not to say that there aren't moments that are difficult, like being an entrepreneur, starting my own business, expanding my business, further of an outreach. This is not easy, right? There are moments that are so difficult. However, they're small in comparison to the bigger moments that are more powerful, that are more enjoyable, and those moments of excitement. It's like I wake up in the morning, it's like I get to do exactly what I want to do every single day. I get to enjoy my life. I get to work with clients. I get to help people. I get to teach people. I get to do all those things that I really, truly want to be doing every day. That feels magical. It is such an amazing way to live life, especially when I know what it's like to be working a job you don't really want to be doing, or like spend 6 years of your life on a degree that you end up not using. So we want to be moving into that space of excitement. Like, does it bring you excitement? Because if it brings you excitement, then you know that that's for you. So like I said, looking at what you did as a child can help give you that sort of idea. Another one is, what are you excited about? Like, what do you get excited about? What do you geek out about? Those are the things that where you should be going, the direction you should be heading in. And I'm going to also be really clear about this. Just because it doesn't currently exist doesn't mean that you can't make it happen. So just because this, it's like, I really love, I don't know, some sort of topic, right? I really love this topic, and like, I don't really even know any human being in real life who also loves this topic. Then find people online that also love that topic and like research that topic and figure out, how could you share that topic? What could you do with that topic? You know, it's like, what could you create with that topic? Because just because it doesn't exist today doesn't mean you cannot create it. That's huge. Like, you can create anything you want to. And let me tell you that anyone who shows up with this energy of like, I'm so excited about this, this makes me so happy, and I want to share this with other people, they do it. They do it no matter what it is, you know? When I think about all the different things that we have experience-wise and learning-wise and all that kind of stuff, all of it started because it was someone's idea. Someone was like, you know what, this would be really cool if I did this. Let me see. And then it just grows and grows and grows and grows, because the chances are, with 8 billion people in this world, someone else is also interested in it too. Someone else is going to want to learn from you, or someone else is going to want to participate in it with you and do it with you. And there is a space for you and your special thing. No matter what your special thing is, there's a space for you to do it. So don't ever think that like it's a pipe dream, because it's not. It's just you getting in your own way and you being in your story and not making it happen. Where else was I going with that? Let me check my notes real quick. I had tapping into childhood memories. Oh, so if you also don't know what it is that that you want to be doing, think about those things, like what calls to you. So I kind of just covered that, you know, like what calls to you, what are you interested in? If you're like super interested in plants and like, you know, you can learn about plants, like it's endless what you can learn about plants, and ways that you can share that knowledge with other people, things that you can do with that. You know, you don't have to think in the very traditional, like, oh, does that mean I have to like be a farmer now? No, like there's so many different things that you could do. So whatever it is that interests you, head in that direction, start learning about stuff in that direction. So for example, if you start to learn about something and you get deeper with it, and then you're like, this isn't really for me, then that is wonderful. You haven't wasted any time. You've learned more about yourself. One of the things that I had done in the past was I have a personal training certification, because I was like, yeah, I'm going to train people how to work out and all that kind of stuff. Now, I learned a ton of stuff in that like 9-month program, tons of stuff about the body, about nutrition, about muscles and bones and all those kinds of things. It's super helpful when it comes to being a yoga teacher, and also when I'm helping people with like their nutrition and stuff like that when it comes to sessions. However, it wasn't where I was truly like feeling strong and empowered about, right? So, but if I didn't take that certification, how would I know that? So move in the direction of things that interest you. That's going to help you get your ball rolling into figuring out exactly what it is that you do want to be doing. And it helps weed things out real quick. You're like, you know what? I can't even read this book I'm assigned to be reading right now. Like, that's a quick indicator that that's not your path. You know, it doesn't have to be forced. We should not be forcing that kind of stuff. Oh, another thing you want to think about is a day in your ideal life. So think about your ideal life. So literally, like, think about it. Like, close your eyes and think about this process. Like, wake up in the morning. What does your day look like? What's the first thing you're doing in your day? And then go ahead and move forward and like move through your day. What does your ideal day look like? And then stretch it out and like look at what's your ideal week look like? Where's your time going? Where's your energy going? What are you doing with yourself? What is going to make you happiest? And then stretch it out to an ideal month. What's an ideal month of your life look like? What kind of elements come in when we're talking about a monthly basis? And then go deeper and go, what's the ideal year look like? What does it look like to be you living your very best life in a whole entire year? You know, what kind of elements are you bringing into your life in that year? Who's in the picture with you? What kind of people are in your life with you? What kind of places are you going? Where are you living? What kind of money are you making? Get specific. Be really specific about all these kinds of things and think like, hey, the life I'm living right now and this ideal life that I have written down on this piece of paper, I visualized in my mind, they aren't near each other. So guess what? You got to start doing something to get yourself closer to it. Start taking action. And that's the final piece that I'm going to talk about today is taking action. Nothing happens without action. So something that I see a lot in clients, I've also done this a whole lot myself, is like we switch our minds. So we switch our mind, we switch our feelings about something. It's like we compartmentalize it and it's like, okay, yeah, like I could see that from this different perspective. We honor that different perspective, but we're not embodying it and we're not living by it. We're just like, yeah, I've cleaned it up in my mind, but I'm still doing the exact same thing that I've always been doing. So you might feel better, right? This does feel a little bit better, but it's not really where you want to be. It's not really what you want to be doing. You're still sort of pacifying yourself in a way and not really truly stepping in to who you really want to be and how you really want to be living your life and how you really want to be sharing your energy. And so you've got to take action. Action is the only thing that moves the needle. That's it. Action in the physical reality, not just action in your mind. That's one place where it's really important, but action in your physical reality. What are you going to do? How are you going to take that step forward? So today it's like if you were in camp number 1 and you know exactly what it is that you want to be doing, take a look at your life and see how far is my life from where I really truly want it to be, and what's the first step that I'm going to take to start getting myself there, and then start doing it. Like right now, like when you're done watching this video, like get started. What is the first step that I'm going to take to get myself to that space? And then if you're in the second camp where you're like, I've got no clue, start using those little processes of like exploring, you know, what did I do as a kid? What did I love being as a kid or doing as a kid? How did I spend my time? Start really thinking about that to get some answers from there. Or explore possibilities. Like I've always been really drawn to crystals. Like, okay, then maybe you're going to be a crystal healer, you know? Start learning about it. Buy some books, take a class online, buy crystals, meditate with them, do something. So start taking that physical action by exploring the possibilities. Number 1, you learn a whole bunch of stuff, right? That will always be useful. And number 2, you also really get to know yourself better, and you get to know, is this really truly what I want? Or maybe is it not the direction I want to go in, and I actually want to go in a totally different direction. So those are the pieces I have to share with you today about finding your true purpose, because the reality is your life purpose is whatever you want to make it to be, and whatever it is that you feel deep inside your heart is for you to be here doing, regardless of what family, society, spouse, children, friends, anyone else has to say about it. It's what you want to do with your life. And I promise you, if you share your life and your energy from this space, you will be abundantly supported, because that's just how it works. Trust in that, trust in the process, and I wish you the very